Let's rock.
What's going on, shitters?
What's up, dorks?
Oh. Rude, dude. Wow.
Sorry, we just said we were getting into it, and so that's the first thing that came to mind.
I didn't know. Wow, I didn't know you getting into it meant you were just going to be an
Yeah,
asshole.
like just playfully insult them, you know?
That's what keeps them coming. Yeah.
What's up, you pieces of shit? Let's go.
You're all very glad to...
Super glad to talk to you, bros.
He is. He loves you. Remember, Braden loves you.
I do love you.
He tells you guys that all the time.
Yeah.
This is
Do
nerd
I?
shit in the dark. You do.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
don't
guess
know
I
that's
do.
one of your things?
Yeah, I guess I do.
At the end of every
Thinking back
episode,
to
you
it.
always tell the
I do tell
shitters you
them.
love them.
Because that might be the first time they've heard that. I don't know.
Maybe. If it's their first
personal
episode
lives.
of Nerd Shit in the Dark, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think people tell them that?
Ever.
You don't think you think some of the shitters aren't told by people that they're loved?
Probably.
Huh.
Yeah.
You'd hope they all
I would
were,
hope so, but that's
you think
why
there's a chance
that's why I
someone
do it.
who listens to us maybe isn't regularly told how loved they
Right,
are,
so in case if they need to hear that.
or maybe ever have been loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy cow.
So there you go. They're loved by us. Me specifically.
You specifically.
Yeah.
I love you too, shitters. I don't tell you enough. That's me sometimes. It's your boy Chase the Chaz Screefek.
And Brad and Brad Nielster.
And we are here at what people are calling the shittiest podcast on the internet.
That is true. That is the thing
Nerd
I've seen.
Shit in the Dark. And
Nerd shit in the dark. Is that
it's
what we're called?
That's what we're called.
Wow.
Well, yeah. But tonight is, as I say quite often with this show, a very special episode.
A quite special
It's
episode
our
indeed.
420 special.
Our 420th episode we've ever released.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And we're celebrating it on April 20th.
Yep.
420.
420
It's our 420 special.
specifically.
And
Yep.
we got some fun things lined up for
We
everybody.
sure do.
And if you can't tell, we love the day of 420 and we love celebrating the day of 420.
Yeah, we get together, we grill some hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Listen to some Toby Keith.
Toby Keith played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came and played.
The ghost of Toby Keith showed up at our shindig here.
He sure did.
And we played some Foursquare. And
We actually did play Foursquare, and it was quite fun. I had more fun than I expected.
We've had a wonderful little day together.
It was great.
Yeah. And we thought,
Friends being bros.
friends being bros.
Yep.
And we wanted to bring that friendly brodom to you, the shitters, as we wrap up our 420.
In case if they've never experienced friendly brodom before.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah, if they've never possibly been loved, then they probably also are
They've
missing
never
out on
experienced
friendly brodom.
because that usually comes with love.
You get friendly brodom when there's two friendlies with scrotum.
Yep.
That's what they say.
When they're
When
picking ticks.
Well, you gotta check. Well, yeah, that's another thing, shitters.
Yeah.
Before we get into it tonight, I just want to
Just be
address
aware.
a
PSA,
real situation
public service
going
announcement.
on. You should check yourself for ticks.
Check yourself
Well,
for
if you and your
ticks.
friends are out, maybe having fun, listening to the ghost of Toby Keith in the woods, you might get some ticks on yourself. So you should really get a buddy, a bro, if you will.
Yep. Get a little comb.
Get a little comb. And, strip with your friends and check each other over for ticks, dude. You don't want one. Lyme disease is serious, and a little comb, just,
Yep. Just brush
Brush your
lightly
friend's
over,
body
gently
off.
over, tenderly.
and that's, there you go.
There's nothing more bro than tenderly brushing your
A
bro
good tick check.
with a tick
Yeah.
checker.
So that's a PSA for everyone out there
Yep.
listening tonight for our 420 special.
Tick season. Be
It's tick
aware.
season, and just be aware.
Don't go rolling any hills.
No.
In fact, don't even go outside.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
Well, no, because you want to experience getting tick checked by a buddy. So, go do something.
It's true. You don't want ticks, but you do want that buddy tick check. You
That
do
buddy
want
tick
that
check time
experience.
is very important.
Yep.
Very important. So, with that all being said, we got a few great things lined up for all you guys tonight. So we just want to kind of jump into it.
Yep. Let's get into it. So we are starting our next In the Dark segment.
That'll be later tonight. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else do we have planned?
Well, we got new nerd shit.
We got new nerd shit. That's
we
true.
got to cover new nerd shit.
Yeah.
Then we'll do a little talking about weed, and then we'll hop into the In the Dark segment.
Yeah.
So let's start. I like letting you start for the new nerd shit. So
geez.
start with
How
your.
about you start this time?
You want me to start this time?
Because I got to percolate on mine for a
You
minute.
got to percolate on mine.
Yeah.
On yours. Okay. I got a couple. But one thing up top, I just want to say, I know last episode I said next time on Nerd Shit in the Dark that I was going to cover Shogun. There is one episode left. I am going to wait till it's all done, and I will talk about it on the next episode.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say right now is fucking phenomenal television show. Certainly the first standout show of this year. By far, fantastic. But I want to cover all of it when it's done. So
Which I still have not started Shogun.
you should watch.
I need to start it.
It's going to be done on Tuesday.
I've started so many things recently.
Sure. You start Shogun once it's done and just binge it. Probably the best way.
Sounds
to watch
good.
it.
We're nearly done with Avatar.
Right.
So once we're done with that, that's gonna
open up some time.
Open up some time for things. So
fair enough. But one of my new nerd shits that I wanted to bring up today was I started watching X-Men 97.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that. Seen a lot about it on the interwebs.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's 6 episodes in, and they're all really, really good. I don't even know how to kind of describe. So I watched the old show growing up.
I did too.
As a kid. But it's been quite a long time, so I've been kind of going back and watching old episodes of it to kind of reintroduce myself to the series. So that'll be something I talk about probably later as I clear more of that. But for this one specifically, here's what I like about it. Here's what I'm liking about it in an aesthetic kind of way. It's that same fucking show that you watched in the 90s.
Yeah.
But with updated animation. But like it still looks kind of 90s. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like a remastered version, kind of.
But it looks so good. So like that look, and also how it's like written, how characters talk and sound is also very 90s-esque.
Yeah.
But it really works, and it's so good. And each specific episode kind of tells its own full story, which is a very
full arcs in one episode.
It's a full meal of an episode.
That's good.
But with connective tissue that, for an overarching story as well.
Yeah, build a bigger overarching
And
story.
that's what I like about it. And the other night we put it on, because I have been watching it week by week, but we were just putting something on to have on. So I watched a bunch of episodes in a row, and I was actually surprised with how much I even liked it more upon a rewatch, like watching it all at once. Like what I thought was just really good, superhero old school television, when I watched it a second time, I was like, actually, this is genius.
Yeah.
This is so well done.
I remember it being very good, but I was young when I watched it, so I didn't really
how good it was.
I didn't follow as much as I should have today.
I think the beauty of 97 is you can kind of just hop into it there, and if you don't remember the other shows much, it's fine. You'll go along with what's happening.
Yeah.
And it goes for like there's big connections to the older show. Like they go big superhero stuff very quick in a lot of episodes and cover a lot of ground. But
I hear Cyclops is pretty cool in it.
Cyclops is very cool in it.
Because I think people have an impression of Cyclops as kind of a lame character.
Yeah.
Especially from like the X-Men movies that people remember.
Yeah, he's not really in them
he
very
didn't do much.
And when he is, he's kind of...
He's a very powerful character in the comics.
Sure, and he does something in this series, which was so cool. It was the first episode where their plane gets like attacked, and they all have to like use their powers to land on the ground.
Yeah,
and they do it really well. And like he's like the Captain America. He's like utilizing everybody to do it. It gets to him just flying down, and he just shoots a super like beam at the earth, and that's how he slows himself down to land as they all like land together, and an epic like battle scene starts. Yeah, and
that's
looks,
great superhero shit.
It's full of great superhero shit, and it goes big. Like the 5th episode, they killed off a lot of characters, and it was just like, whoa, holy fuck, they are not holding back on this. Yeah. So, totally recommend it. It's real, 6 episodes out now. They're only like 30-minute long episodes. And if you want to get some X-Men stuff, which I personally think the world sorely lacks and has lacked for a long time now. X-Men, the good X-Men content, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd say this is pretty good. It's fun. It's,
It's good. It does the X-Men justice.
It certainly does the X-Men justice, and it's good to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, watch it.
I will.
Kill you. Bub. Something Wolverine says a lot. Bub. Bub. Calls him Bub.
Booby.
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 He rubs Cyclops on the chin and says, "Hey there, Booby. I'm gonna dick check you with my claws." No, there's no tick checking on X-Men. There probably should be. But and another thing that's really cool about the show is, like, at this point, you're launched into a new series, but where the characters all have a relationship together and work off each other in a very believable and entertaining way throughout every episode. So you don't have to learn character dynamics because everybody just knows everybody so
it's
well.
pre-written.
Yeah. So that's another thing I really appreciated about it.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I always remember loving the original series, even though I didn't know what was going on anytime I watched an episode because it was just on cable. So it was whatever episode they were showing at the time.
Cable's in the show.
Oh,
sometimes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. I was hoping
he
that
showed
Cable
up.
would be
Yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Brolin.
Not Josh Brolin.
Damn.
Yeah, no. Just normal Cable.
What voice actors did they get? Are they?
They got a lot of the original voice actors
That's
back.
what I was wondering.
They got a good chunk of the voice actors
I'm
back.
sure they're still around.
Yeah, most of them. And there's been a few change outs.
Yeah.
But they sound pretty good, close. Like, even Cyclops is a different voice actor, but he sounds very much like the other guy. So they did a pretty good job. And yeah, everybody's acting in general is also good. They haven't missed a beat. They even got a guy, you know that the dude from The Walking Dead who played the Red Skull in Endgame because he's really good at impersonations. So he did like his Hugo Weaving impression for Red Skull in that.
Yes.
So he voices Charles Xavier in this, and he sounds just like, I honestly thought they got the Charles Xavier voice actor back. And then I found out it was this guy, and I was like, dude, this guy is great at impressions.
Wow.
I should know his name. He's Aaron from The Walking Dead, but I can't remember what his real name is.
Aaron from it's been so long since I've watched The Walking Dead, I can't even remember.
Aaron is the gay dude that leads them into Alexandria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I liked him.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But like, that actor is really good at impressions, and like, so well that they put him in Endgame because he sounded so well at his Hugo Weaving impression.
Wow.
But yeah, he's Xavier, and it's so good. Like, it sounds exact. That's the thing about voice acting. If you can really just completely mimic a character's voice, you can recast that voice actor.
Yeah.
But in things where you recast a voice actor and it's not the exact same voice and it's very noticeable, has always been a pet peeve of mine. So it's nice when they get like people that sound spot on.
Yeah, and that's tough to find. You have to have a good casting.
You sure do. Yeah, Disney.
Yeah.
Disney's got that money to look for that kind of casting.
For sure.
But yeah, and to me, it's also, I know it's not part of the MCU proper, but it's really refreshing for something Marvel or even Disney Plus to come out and everybody universally be like, this is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Because like, a lot of people feel differently about the MCU show. Some people like them, some people hate them.
All the memes I've been seeing have been, the old memes of like where the guy looks at another girl who's not his girlfriend, but it's like X-Men 97, everything else Marvel's doing.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't say everything, but this is really good. It's really good to see it. I'm a big fan of the X-Men, and I feel like I'm sort of subtly like in my X-Men era because I'm like doing things involving X-Men a lot right now.
Yeah.
One thing I watched was the Cosmonaut Variety Hour guy. He came up with an idea that they should make for an X-Men video game, and I highly recommend you and anybody else
I'll have to see this. I haven't seen it.
to go listen to that video because
is it a newer one?
It's from this. It's 9 months. I think it said it came out 9 months ago when I watched it, so it's relatively newer. It's fantastic. It's like his pitch, and I'm just like, if we could get that out there to somebody to make this fucking game, because he's asking people listening to try to do that. So this is my way of spreading it, because it's if they made this game, essentially to give you a brief summary, it's Persona but with X-Men.
Oh, okay.
But he goes into it, and I totally recommend it. So
that would work. Yeah, Cosmonaut Variety Hour. I would check out his video.
Yeah, he's always entertaining. I also he reviewed all the live action X-Men movies for a couple of his videos.
I did watch those.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. Yeah, so that's
Awesome.
one of my new nerd shits. I got another thing, but I'll get back to it.
Yeah.
I'm giving it up to you, buddy. I'm passing the joint
Passing the joint to me.
to you
All right.
on our 420 special.
Toke it up.
Hit that shit.
Ooh. Yeah.
Mm.
There we go.
Yeah.
Just
Whoa, careful, ashes.
Whoa, God, yeah, you're
Don't
right.
get that on the
On the
furniture.
microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn this fucker down.
Sometimes I wish.
No. That wouldn't be very funny.
No, it would not be very funny.
Take it away.
Yeah, so I'm in a dilemma with my new nerd shit because I fell into a similar trap that you did for a while. Where I haven't been doing...
Chronic masturbation.
Yeah, no, not that.
No?
We talked about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay, go on.
No. I started playing Tears of the Kingdom.
You did.
Yeah, the Legend of Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, which was featured on this pod a while ago.
Almost all last summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many episodes ago. So if shitters were listening then, you might remember that time where Chase had no new nerd shit for a while because he was still playing Tears of the Kingdom.
I really liked it.
And now
I hadn't been starstruck by a game like that in quite some time.
Yeah. And now, like, that we circle back around to it, now's my time.
I'm so excited for it to be your time. I want you to geek out
Yeah.
of your Tears of the Kingdom experience. Because it's been a year. I'm sure people
Oh,
don't
yeah.
mind hearing.
New, fresh perspective
Sure,
from someone
yeah.
who didn't play it before.
Get going.
Yeah, so, like,
Go.
for people who might have played Breath of the Wild, as I did, it's similar but different to Breath of the Wild, where it's, the same exact map, engine, and everything, but the whole deal with this is that an upheaval event occurred where Link and Zelda... I was unclear on this part so far, but did they cause the upheaval by discovering the Demon King's body?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, as they do in these games, they stumble upon an ancient evil, accidentally awakening it, causing an upheaval, which causes parts of land to shoot up into the air.
Yeah.
And, like, create these sky temples, basically. So, like, a new map area of the sky opens up in these games. So it's like the regular Breath of the Wild map, which is huge already, and then an added caveat.
Kind of remixed because now it's changed.
It's changed
from
a bit.
The evil.
Some time has
upheaval.
passed since Breath of the Wild. But yeah, this time you can explore the sky as well. And you have to do that in a lot of unique ways.
Very unique ways.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite ways of travel that you've partaken in since you've been playing?
The most convenient one I use is just using the sky towers and shooting myself up into the air and then finding a shrine and creating a fast travel point.
Sure. Yeah.
But when I'm up in the sky, I like to glide down on little gliders because, as you mentioned last year in your review, one of the different things about this game is they have like a building system.
Yep.
Where you can combine items.
Crafting.
Yeah, crafting. You could like combine items in the world to like make whatever you want pretty much. Like I mainly use it to just make bridges and boats and stuff. But like yeah,
Some people make walls.
Some people make walls.
Braden makes bridges.
That's right.
Remember that.
But yeah, you can make balloons, you can make gliders.
I loved making the balloons, man.
Balloons
Anytime
are
I had
fun.
an issue, I was like, let's just make an air balloon
Yep,
and go
it's
into
just-
the sky.
Yeah, it's a game that really encourages creative problem solving
Yeah.
because there's not like a straightforward way to like do any of it. It's all just based off of how you improvise in the situation.
Sometimes you get hit by like puzzles that they thought they were really crafty making, that you'd probably have to do something really intricate to solve them.
Yeah.
But you can solve them by making it like stupid easy.
Yeah, I've done that before, and that's like a really fun way where it feels like you're kind of like cheating the game, but you also still had to be really
You had to
creative.
think
do
about it,
You had to
yeah.
think about it, so it still kind of got you to think.
I love using the thing that reverses time on objects. Like that's how
Yeah.
I usually get myself like through really tight spots. It's
Yeah.
just like ride something in reverse.
Yeah, so yeah, you get a few powers, like being able to reverse time on objects, like we said, so you could do that in combat, where if like someone shoots an arrow at you or throws a rock at you, you can like reverse it back to hit them. You can combine, one of the whole other things with this is that the weapon system is different, where I thought Breath of the Wild's weapon system was unique, where like you just have to find weapons in the world and then they break and you don't get them back and you have to find new ones.
Yeah.
And like you can get really good ones, but those will eventually break no matter what.
And your heart kind of breaks with them.
And your
a
heart
lot
breaks
of the
with them.
time.
So like it becomes like this weapon management system where you don't want to get rid of like your super strong weapons right away, so you fight with weaker ones.
Yeah.
This one does the same thing, except it adds that crafting component to it, where this time you can like really customize your weapons with different things. Like if you put a certain gem on your weapon, it'll give it like electrical attacks.
Sure,
or,
yeah.
like if you give it a strong base and like attach a rock to it, you can make a hammer and like hammer people, or an axe.
You're constantly able to make any weapon you really want, and all sorts of different kinds of weapons.
Yeah.
And you always have items to make them with. Like you're never like hurting for a way to combine things to make new weapons.
Yeah.
Or shields.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and I think the progression system is interesting. I mean, other Legend of Zelda games are like this as well, but like you don't get experience killing enemies. Like
No.
that's not how you progress. You get items from killing enemies, which you can use to make better stuff.
Yeah.
But you get experience, like I guess you progress by solving puzzles in the game.
Yeah.
Like the
There's no
shrines
like leveling system in Zelda. You just as a person playing the game
get better.
get better at the
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Or and there's armor. There's like different armor that
Yeah, you can
helps
get
to and upgrade
better,
you.
but
Yeah.
it's not through combat. Well,
Yeah.
the only like you get better through combat by just practicing.
But yeah.
But it's like your personal experience as a player, not your in-game character getting stronger.
Yeah. Which is refreshing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there aren't a lot of games like that anymore. Like that, the
No.
leveling system is in. They've put that into a lot of modern games these days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you're almost surprised by it when you play Zelda for the first time. You're like, oh, that's right. I just kill things, and it doesn't matter if
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter if I kill them. Doesn't matter if I don't.
You
kill
can
them.
just ignore them. You can run
Sure
away
can. Yep. And it.
and fuck off and do something else.
Yep.
And it's very easy to get sidetracked in this game because there's a lot, just like Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of random shit. It's an adventure game. Like you just walk and find random shit to do, and
So much shit to do.
they
man.
add a lot of stuff.
Took over my life.
Yep.
With how much shit there was to do.
Because especially, so there's,
Love it.
we talked about the two areas of the map, the regular Breath of the Wild map on the surface, the sky map with all the upheavaled islands.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a third area, which is also huge, which is the underground,
Mm-hmm.
which took me a while to actually get into
Yeah.
because there's not like a real reason for you to go there besides a few moments in the game.
Yeah.
It's more so just there for you if you want to explore it all,
that,
but
yeah.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
But
It took me a minute as well to like dabble down there.
right, because at first it feels like a waste of time, but then when you start getting into it and start
Yeah.
exploring it, it's like a really cool
It's amazing.
area.
It's amazing what they did with the underground.
Yeah, because the whole caveat
Feature.
with it is that the entire place is dark. You can't see anything down there.
Yeah.
And so you can't move. Like you have to have a light source or something, and even
Yeah.
then, like
You can get items to make lights. That's what I did a lot. Is you start to illuminate.
Yeah.
Your goal with the underground is to
to
illuminate all
light
the,
it up. Yeah, so you can actually
spots.
fucking see and do stuff there.
But it's very dark before you start doing that.
Yeah, it's like pitch black.
And it's hard. The enemies are stronger down there.
yeah,
But you find some of your best armor and stuff down
you
there.
run into
so-
stuff called gloom, which is like this goo that if it gets on you, it like takes away your hearts and you can't heal them back until you go to like a light source.
Yeah. So you stay eternally hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really smart hub overworld system that they kind of implemented
Very,
in
yeah.
this game. I think that's another thing about it that
It's very well implemented.
stood out to me.
Yeah.
Like I always say, Tears of the Kingdom was my 2023 game of the year. I love Baldur's Gate 3. We know I love Baldur's Gate 3.
For sure. Yeah, you talk
I
about
think it's one of the best made games I've ever
it.
played.
You say that? I've heard you say that.
But Tears of the Kingdom still beats it for the year for me personally.
Right. And I remember that because it took over your life.
It took over my life.
And I've been-
not that Baldur's Gate hadn't, but
Yeah, and I've been trying to zoom through this game because I don't want to be on this game for like a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
it's easy to.
it's easy to, but
Yeah.
I've been trying to like do things really quickly. And even then, I'm still like
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I've completed a lot of the main story quests, but like I still have more of that to go.
The side quests are so fun.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. There's not a lot of side quests that aren't fun to do, and I think that's very important.
The only one so far that I got kind of like annoyed by was the Mushroom Village one, and that was just because I couldn't find all the people.
I'm trying to remember that one.
There's a side quest where there's like a mayoral election, and you have to like help out the candidates.
Yes,
and it gets kind of tedious because you just have to like campaign.
Right. The thing about it is that saves that side quest arc for me is that it's funny.
It is funny. It's a nice little
comedic,
story, which is why I did stay and do the whole thing. Because like sometimes I'll start a side quest and then be like, yeah, like I can do this later. Like I have to get a scale from some dragon sometime, and I'm like, I'll do that later.
Yeah, there's so much to do. And I didn't even do all of it. I did a lot of it, but even I had to be like, tap out and stop. But, man, this... do you feel it in you? Like, when you play it, do you, like, see why that I think it's, like, the best game of last year?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it sucks you into its world.
It's a great game.
And it's phenomenal. There's, like I said, there's always something to do. And it doesn't feel stale. Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's essentially running around fighting, adventuring, and solving puzzles, but like it's all so different, and you can tell they put so much detail into the world.
Yeah.
And like the fighting system doesn't get old.
No.
Because like it relies on like a ton of different variations of weapons that you can make based off of your own creativity.
Yeah.
It like keeps it fresh.
Yeah. Well said. And what you're fighting too always, depends on what you're gonna fight with a lot of the time.
Yep. You have to really memorize enemy attack patterns.
Yeah. One thing I really appreciated about Tears of the Kingdom over Breath of the Wild is I felt though the dungeons were kind of similar, they were all different enough.
Yeah.
And the boss fights were really fun and unique and different. As opposed to that's the thing about Breath of the Wild. As much as I always loved Breath of the Wild, I was not impressed by the boss fights being basically the same. And honestly, the temples, the beasts, the divine beasts, they all looked alike. There was no real difference. Whereas with this, they kind of brought that back.
There was a big... Yeah, because like the temples... I mean, certain spoilers for the games with where the temples are, but like there's like one in the... I think there's like a couple in the sky. There's one on the land. There's one underground. Like there's all different aspects to it. And like you said, the boss fights are all different with like the strategies you have to use.
And because of the Uprising, all the places you knew, like the Zoras, the Gora, their whole environments are changed now.
Yeah, and so...
Death Mountain's fucking dope.
Yeah.
In this one.
That's what it made it feel like, you don't have to do the main quest. That's one of the things with these games is you can just dick around but like it makes you feel like you need to do, like there's a sense of urgency when like you see these changed environments because like you can't travel the desert until you beat the main quest without having to fly over it because your compass doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because of a sandstorm.
Yeah.
Like you can't like access certain parts of the map.
Yeah. And then when you do, it's like,
yeah,
you've done something well. You've done something correct.
You feel good then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very rewarding game. I can't say enough good about Tears of the Kingdom. I was going to let you just riff. I'm sorry. It sucked me in again. It sucked me in again.
Yeah, this is good. It was good to bounce off of you. Like I said, I don't want to like go over every aspect of the game because it's a big game. There's a lot I could say, and we've already said a lot about it on this podcast before. But I just wanted to give my quick input of how I was enjoying the game. Yeah, great story. I'm always into the story there.
You just got to keep it up. Sick.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Huh.
So yeah, that's my new nerd shit. I have one other new nerd shit, which I have not finished. That we've talked about. That is also one of your new nerd shits. It's a show.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we are going to get to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
And then we'll get into that a little.
Sounds good.
I'm going to do my last new nerd shit before that, and then we'll go from there. But this week, and this is something I've played very little of, but I've been waiting for it for a while, so I just want to talk about it. So Moon Studios have contacted me, and they want me to be in their next movie.
You.
Yeah, no. Moon Studios, who is the company that made the Ori games.
Yeah. Which is your background.
I love. Yeah. Love the Ori games.
It's the background on your computer. One of them.
It is one of the backgrounds on my computer. Yeah, I love the look of Ori. I love how those games play. I could say that the Ori games are essentially what got me back into gaming, like now when I was out of it. I wouldn't say they like Tears of the Kingdom got me into like playing like a fucking lunatic again, but Ori was the game that got me back into playing video games regularly again.
Right.
So that company have been working on an ARPG of their own, kind of Diablo.
An Arg. Yeah.
Yeah. Arg.
An Arg.
So they've been working on an Arg, and it finally released on God damn it, I always want to call it the alpha, but it's the
Omega.
No, not the it's not even those words, but it's instead of the beta, you can
The Sigma.
Nope. Damn it. God damn it. Like we did with Power World. Early access. It started early access Thursday. I had been waiting for it for a very long time, so I finally got to dive into it. And from what I'm playing so far, I really like it. The good thing about the early access of the game is it's I think they dropped at least like 25 to 30 hours of the game's content into the game. So there's a lot to do. And so to describe this game, like I said, it's kind of over the top, like Diablo style of gameplay.
It's too much. It's over the top.
It's over the top, dude. It's in a way though, but it's the graphics and the look of the game are that same kind of art style as Ori.
Yeah.
So it's a very pretty game.
Very pretty art style.
It feels it feels next gen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, especially for these kind of games. So it's very pretty, which helps. And it when you're playing something that's like something else, but it has its own aesthetic,
vibe to it.
It already grabs you right away.
Yeah.
So you play, like an RPG, an ARP. You design a character, and then you have a shield, a sword. You got to put armor on, all yada yada, all your usual ARP things.
All those accoutrements.
Yeah. So, but what I think is really, I really enjoy a lot about this game over other games like this, and I don't even know if this is the first one to do it. It's just my first time experiencing it, so I'm going to say that up ahead. I don't know if it's breaking any grounds by making this kind of game. But like I said with Prince of Persia, where they implemented kind of like it's a Metroidvania side-scroller game, but the combat feels very modern parry slash, you got to think when you fight type of fighting in a side-scrolling game.
Yeah.
I think this game is doing that with like the Diablo style. So it's that kind of game.
Over the top style.
It's over the top, but when you get into battles with things, it's you have a stamina bar, and like when you dodge, when you block, when you strike, it uses up the stamina. So if you run out of it, your character kind of like just stops in place and you can get hurt.
You're fucked, yeah.
So and like the fights are pretty hard. So like everybody you fights a little differently. So you kind of got to figure out the routine. It's very involved, and you know how I feel about very involved fighting in a video game.
You love very involved fighting.
I love very involved fighting in a video game.
You love to be as involved as possible.
It's hard, though, and your stamina meter, at least at the beginning, it gets better. Like, as you level up, you can pick the perks that you want to, put points into, and I always throw one into stamina because, like, it's one of those games where you can run and jump around outside of combat, and it doesn't use stamina.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're in a fight, stamina is up for eating, and it goes quick. So you really gotta think about it.
Gotta be strategic.
So that's really fun, and a lot of what you're doing is just running around and fighting. At least as far as I've only gotten about 4 hours into the game. I just like this morning got to like the main town that you're trying to get to, because it starts with you're some sort of powerful person. There's a name.
A powerful person.
You're like. It's basically like you're the Arisen, sort of.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they call it in this game, but like you're getting taken to this kingdom to like help them fight something at the beginning of the game. These pirates are taking you somewhere, and then the pirate ship gets attacked, and everything goes to fucking hell, and you gotta fight all these monsters and shit.
Do you get companions?
No. You meet people, but it's just been me so far. Nobody's like with me helping me fight.
And you level up and stuff?
And you level up and stuff, and you can upgrade armor, upgrade weapons. I just killed like the first main boss, and I got this dope ass sword from it. Cool. So that's really cool. You can make bombs. You can make all
I
sorts of.
love making bombs.
Yeah. Your your items have certain special moves. Like I had a wooden sword that if you held like R and hit the attack button, it did like a special sword move, and then that has to charge back up before you can use it again. Yeah, and you can't always use healables. Like if you use a healable, I think there's like an 8-second cooldown before you can use another healable, and your health goes down pretty fast. So, yeah, I've died a lot playing this game, and it's one of those games where like I had to play the beginning 3 times over because I thought it auto-saved, but I then found out it had like fireplaces, like in Dark Souls games, where you kind of have to like that's where you save.
That's something that could get me to never pick up a game again.
Yeah.
If I had to restart it 3 times.
Yeah, luckily I hadn't gotten too far on either of those 3 times, so I was like, let's just run through it and get back to where I was again. One of the times was because my Steam Deck crashed, and I was like, fuck.
That's frustrating.
It's on Alpha Omega Sigma right now, so I understand that it's not built to, because you can tell, like even when I play on my laptop, it's like my computer it plays pretty well on, but anything less than that it kind of struggles with.
Out.
Yeah, that's something I'm sure they'll patch out. There's already been patches, like a bunch just in the past couple days.
So they're actively working.
They're actively working on it. Yeah, they're a studio that definitely put a lot of
out there.
care into their games, but they felt comfortable enough to release it a little early like this, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's only $30 for the Alpha Omega Sigma, and yeah, I don't know really what else. It seems like there's really cool cutscenes. So like the story is very interesting. There's a king somewhere, like the main king of the land died, and like his son took over, and his son seems like a little twat.
Yeah,
and there's
as they do.
Yeah,
those sons.
So there's some shit going on that we're gonna get involved with, but I haven't gotten that far yet. Honestly, I've spent most of my time just kind of adventuring. It's open enough that you can explore quite a lot, and you can you're solving puzzles as you're looking around and shit. Very involved game.
Oh, cool.
Can't wait to see where it goes from here.
What was the name of the game again?
Oh, it's called, did I even say what it was called?
I don't know if
I don't
you did,
think
actually.
I did. I just said the studio. It's called No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah, you didn't say the name.
No,
before.
yeah. I
No
said,
Rest for the Wicked.
No Rest for
you
the
left
Wicked.
us in suspense this whole time.
No. I should have came in strong. And that game is called No Rest for the Wicked. Buy it now on Steam Early Access. No. But you should. But yeah, No Rest for the Wicked.
No Rest for the Wicked
Yeah.
is the name of that game we just talked about. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
It is fun.
I hope it turns out well and they make a lot of money and you make a lot of happy memories.
I think I'm already starting to, so.
Good.
Thank you. Glad you care about my happy memories.
You know I care.
I know. You tick-checked me last night.
I did.
I know how much you care. Thoroughly. Okay. All right, so that covers our new nerd shit for the most part.
I would
next
say
one
so.
is kind of a segment.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into full review because neither of us really can. You're not super far.
Did you finish it?
I didn't finish it. No.
Oh, I thought you finished it.
No, we got 5 episodes. You want to do the same thing where we're going to sit here and talk about what we're talking about and then announce what it is at the very end?
Yeah, so keep them in the dark the whole time.
Yes, hear me out. Like, that could just be the way our show is. We just keep people in the dark until we finally let them know.
Yeah.
No, we won't do that.
No.
Tell them what we're talking about, Braden.
So, recently, is it Amazon Studios? Amazon?
Yeah.
Released.
Amazon.
Amazon.
They're
Amazon
amazing.
Prime
Amazon
released
Prime.
the Fallout series.
Huh?
They released the Fallout series. Amazon Prime did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, so, Chase, you don't play the Fallout games much, do you?
I've never really played them much at all.
You've never played them really at all.
I've recently started New Vegas and have been playing it throughout the week.
Okay. Just recent.
Just after I watched the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So going into it, because you had asked me about this on the last episode, and I was like, I actually don't give 2 shits about it.
I remember.
But not that I thought it was going to be bad. I wasn't a Fallout person, so it didn't matter if it was good or bad.
So I was a Fallout person.
Yeah.
I played Fallout 3.
Braden has his own shelter.
I do. Yeah, I'm a doomsday prepper. Mm-hmm. It's well known.
So we're recording right now is in the Fallout shelter.
Bunker, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say where it is. Don't want raiders coming to get us.
Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Fallout series. Mm-hmm. Been a huge fan of Bethesda games in general, like Skyrim and whatnot. But Fallout has always been one of my mainstay favorite series. I started with Fallout 3, which took place in Washington, D.C. Played that around, would have been like late middle school, early high school when I started playing that.
I think it came out in 2008.
Yeah, so I played that early.
yeah.
That was the first exposure to Fallout I had, and I loved it.
Okay.
And then Fallout New Vegas came out, and I loved
People say it's the best one.
Fallout New Vegas. It is the best one by far. Like, it's definitely the peak of the series, in my opinion.
Nice.
Because that's where they put the most effort into their games. Where, like, there is a billion different quests you could do, and a ton of them interconnected, and there was a ton of different ways that you could solve the quests, and there was unique things. Like, if you killed certain people, you couldn't do that quest anymore. Like, you would just fail. And, like, you had to, like, really, use your head. You could be creative with it, play around with the system. And it had a really great story to go along with it. There's, different factions that you could, make friends or enemies with.
Yeah, they really leave it up to you.
Yeah.
Of what I have played this week of New Vegas, I know I have a little knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you liking New Vegas so far?
So far, so good. I'm very early on it. But
Nice.
it's, can be challenging at times, which I appreciate, but it's fun.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'm a huge fan of Fallout, so I was excited to see that Amazon was coming out with their Fallout series. I liked what I saw from the previews. Like, it looked like they nailed the aesthetics. Because, like, with these previews and adaptations, sometimes they don't paint a rosy picture.
No, yeah,
we
most
did not.
of the time.
We were not confident in One Piece after the first preview we saw.
I wasn't confident in One Piece until I saw it. The previews to me did nothing for it.
But the previews I saw of Fallout looked promising to me. Like, it looked like they nailed the aesthetic. They had good actors that were mostly newer actors or not well-known actors.
Not like super big.
Not super big. I think they've been in a few other things.
Yeah.
But mostly, less well-known people.
Well, the Ghoul, he's pretty
Walton Goggins, he's the star power of the series.
For sure, yeah.
Walton Goggins, we'll get into his character.
Sure.
But a little bit. But yeah, so it takes place... Do you just want to get into describing the series?
Everything, get into it. Follow the series, TV show, go.
Yeah, so I believe it takes place in California.
Yeah.
I think we start in Santa Monica, or at least one of our main characters is in Santa Monica, the Vault Dweller.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way the series is set up, there's 3 main characters, but one of the main characters they focus on a bit more than the other 2.
I'd say she's like
the
main character.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with, this is a retro-futuristic alternate timeline Earth.
Apocalypse,
basically.
Yeah.
Where in 2077, everything is like 1950s America aesthetics, but it's futuristic. So, like, there's robots and, superpowers going to war. Mm-hmm. And, the initial opening scene is Walton Goggins' character at a party. And he's with his little girl, and he's like a cowboy
he's
entertainer.
A character of some sort.
He's a character of some sort that's performing at this little boy's birthday party. And we find out later he used to be in the Marines, and
you learn stuff about him as the series goes on.
Yeah, and he has this conversation with his little girl about why he doesn't really like to do a thumbs up gesture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We find out because the main symbol of Fallout is the little boy with the thumbs up. The thumbs up. So we find out that's a trick for nuclear detonation, where if you see a bomb cloud in the distance, you're supposed to hold up your thumb. Mm-hmm. And if the cloud is smaller than your thumb, you can run and maybe get away. But if the cloud's bigger than your thumb,
just don't worry about it. And
then coincidence has it, a bomb drops right then and there.
Oof, yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much right after he gets done talking. Great scene. The opening of this show is phenomenal, dude. You're just brought in, you're learning the show a little, and right when you start to, one of the most horrifying type of scenes takes place.
Yeah.
You feel just like, oh my God, like this is the end of the world. It's a nuclear holocaust happening.
Yeah, it throws you right into it.
Yeah. And then right as soon as you're like, oh boy, that sets a dark tone.
Right. Like, what's the series going to be like?
Boom, it's bam, we're comedy. We're having a good time. It's the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
That's what I love most about the show is this like bob and weave from like these very serious moments to like very funny moments.
Yeah.
And it's a really well put together show.
Yeah, and that also captures the vibe of the Fallout series in general because it is a satirical series. Like, there are a lot of funny moments in the games, but it's also at the backdrop of a nuclear wasteland where everything is shitty and, you know, people die all the time.
Yeah. And then the series kind of takes, there's a time jump. And
200 years into the future.
And you are introduced to the main character, main character, Lucy, who is a vault dweller. She's somebody who they've made a whole society of people that live underground in these vaults to outlast the nuclear apocalypse and wait for like all the radiation and the Earth to disappear so they can go take back the planet.
Yep, it was essentially all the rich people got into these vaults because there's this company, Vault Tech, who made a lot of money during the lead up to a nuclear war. And so we're seeing the results of that.
Yeah.
So these people have no contact with the outside world and haven't for generations.
And everybody plays those types of characters. I think the main character Lucy plays that type of character. This like grow up in a cult of people trying to better the world underground character.
Right.
Love her.
And even though like it's clearly a cult and like very, you know, you have to follow the rules or else we're going to kick you out or whatever. Like they have it pretty well for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they definitely make it look like they have it the best, cleanest, comfortablest lifestyle.
Yeah.
As opposed to the outside world, which we eventually get to. But shit does happen, which leads our main character out into the world. Their family gets kind of attacked and her dad gets taken. Spoilers a little bit for the first episode, but she has to go back to the real world to save him. And
that very much mirrors the games, where many of the games are from the perspective of a vault dweller who you start off in the vault and then something happens. Like in Fallout 3, your dad gets kidnapped or your dad leaves.
All right.
And you have to leave the vault. And so you could tell that the people working on this series
really knew what they were doing.
They worked with Bethesda.
They did, but yeah, Bethesda is part of the show. Yeah.
So
which is a smart move. I was saying this with The Last of Us. They got the guy who made that to work on the show.
Yeah, and it shows.
It definitely shows. They should do that all the time.
Yeah, as someone who knows the series, I see references that are really well woven into the game, where it doesn't feel like fan service.
Sure.
Like it's fan servicey, but it doesn't feel fan servicey. Where it just feels like it's a part of this world.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for you. Yeah, New Vegas is one of the unique ones where you're not a vault dweller.
Yeah.
You're a courier.
Yeah, you're a courier. Yeah.
Yeah. But most of them, you start off in the vaults. So just like Lucy. So she's like the main character.
I think she is.
She's meant to be like
character,
kind of the audience stand-in.
Yeah.
As we experience this world through her eyes.
She goes out to the real world and sees that like, people do live out here. It's a broken world, but there's a world out there.
Yeah,
it's a mutated world.
Civilization of some sort.
Yeah.
It's not anything great.
No.
There's not really a form of law.
But there is an order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dystopian, if you will.
Very dystopian.
Yeah. So that's just like the setting of the show.
Yeah. And that's just one of the main characters.
There's another main character who is Maximus. Do you want to go into a little bit of where he comes from, what he's all about?
Yeah, so in the middle of Lucy's story, right when it's getting to the climax of her in this first episode, we skip to Maximus, who is the second main character. I forget what those are called, like the deuteragonist or something.
Yeah.
Not quite the protagonist, but one of the protagonists.
Yeah.
An English term, I should know. But he is a part of the Brotherhood of Steel. He is I guess akin to an enlisted recruit. So he's like bottom of the barrel, bottom rung guy in this order. The Brotherhood of Steel is this semi-religious fascist organization that collects pre-war technology in the wasteland, and they're paramilitary, so like they have a lot of weapons and guns and power.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, essentially their whole goal is to just find pre-war tech to like make themselves stronger, and they want to create Eden, which is like bringing back the world the way it used to be.
Yeah.
But that they're very strict, and they act similarly to like Templar Knights.
Yeah. A lot of different cultures in this show.
A lot of different
I appreciate
cultures.
that.
Yeah.
Cultures in like an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Very unique type of culture.
It's one of my favorite things to see in the apocalypse genre is what kind of cultures spring from those conditions. And this is just one of them. And yeah, the whole deal is they're set up like Templar Knights, where there's clerics, which are kind of like the religious leaders of the organization that tell knights where to go. And then there's knights, which is what Maximus is trying to become.
Right.
Which are people who get to wear power armor.
Yeah.
And fight in the wasteland and searching for pre-war technology.
Yeah.
And the power armor in this show looks
fucking awesome.
Awesome.
All the looks, the show looks great. All the effects, all the practical and CGI, beautiful.
So if you've ever seen the if you've ever seen the cover of a Fallout game, every game cover is a person in power armor. It's quite literally like the titular image of the series. And
I'd say that and the fucking thumbs up dude are like.
And if there's one thing they really got right, it was that. Like,
which is important.
And you can tell some of it's CG, but it's very well integrated.
Yeah.
And the close-up shots are real. Like they actually built
I believe it.
To look like
they
that.
Look real.
Yeah. So yeah, the power armor looks awesome. Maximus is a lowly little recruit that is trying to become a knight.
Yeah.
And he's an interesting character.
He is an interesting character. And the farther you get it, like there was an episode that took place, I think it's like the 4th or 5th episode, where I just looked at Miranda and I was like, I don't like this guy. Am I supposed to like this guy? Like seems like a main character, but I don't know if I like him.
And that is one of the things with this show is that some of the main characters aren't necessarily good people.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily a good person. It's kind of like you root for him because you're like from his perspective.
Yeah.
But
he sort of sucks.
The show heavily implies that he sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And as you go on, it makes you think he sucks even more.
But honestly, that's in line with what I would expect people from the surface to be like. Like they're all like the two characters in this show. We'll get into the other one shortly. Who are from the surface are both unhinged.
Yeah.
The only one who's kind of sane is the one from the vault,
and she's
Lucy.
Just kind of like,
and
she's just crazy in her own way.
She's crazy in her own way because she's incredibly naive.
She's brainwashed.
To the world.
Yeah. We could get into the ghoul because I feel the same way about the ghoul as I do Maximus. Is like, but I here's the thing: he feels like a villain, but I like him. Whereas with Maximus, he feels like a good guy. But I think he sucks. I think he like kind of sucks.
He genuinely sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. The ghoul is very, very cool though.
Awesome.
Even though he is, I guess, like the bad guy. But man, he does it well.
Yeah.
And you really only get to meet him at the end of the first episode, so you're really getting more meat and potatoes with him in the second. But I mean, you keep learning more and more about him as it goes on, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Really well done character.
Yep. So.
You can explain the ghoul if you want.
Yeah, so the ghoul, played by the star power of the series, Walton Goggins. I think he was in Justified, and he was in Django Unchained. Is one of the henchmen. But he's in a lot of things, especially westerns, and definitely the most famous person in this.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a ghoul.
A ghoul.
A ghoul, which ghouls are another part of the Fallout world where it's it's a fantasy world. Like it's a artistic imagining of what the wasteland would be like.
Yeah.
And one of them is that these people called ghouls exist that were around during the time when the bombs dropped.
Yeah.
And were exposed to a lethal amount of radiation, but for whatever reason they got random mutations that caused their skin to melt off and their noses and other appendages to fall off, but like in return got prolonged lifespans.
Yeah,
like they could live for hundreds of years. And so his character we see him in the first scene before the bombs dropped, as the cowboy.
Yeah. Then we meet him again at the end.
Yeah, so he's from around the time when the bombs dropped.
Right.
And he's over 200 years old.
Yeah.
And he can live that way because of his mutations.
Correct. Yeah.
But they're kind of like zombies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But he's...
Living zombies.
Yeah, there's a difference between regular ghouls and feral ghouls. Like, there are feral ghouls, which they, hint a little bit at, which are ghouls who have lost their minds and went crazy and are pretty much just like zombies.
We've met. You meet some.
I see you. I know we meet some eventually.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a couple episodes in, you get to really learn a lot more about the fiends and just how they exist and why they exist, and it's pretty interesting. Yeah. What I really, really like about this show is a mix between, like, there are twists that show up in this show at times where I didn't even consider them, that there was gonna be them. Because sometimes when you're watching something, you're like, all right, where's the twist? Right. With this one, they'll just, like, throw a twist at you randomly, and you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Looking that way.
As the show goes on, I will say from where we're at, there is this, like, B plot line going on. That's certainly a B plot line compared to the other three main characters.
Is it the one that goes on in the vaults?
Yeah.
With Hannah Montana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, that becomes so compelling that I'm just like, I think I care about the storyline going on in the B plot more than I do about the A plot, at least right now. Like, it gets really good.
I'm excited to get to that because I was wondering if they were going to use all those characters more, because I was surprised that all those characters survived in the
There's a very
episode.
Interesting storyline that goes on with that as you continue. And that's one of the twists that I was just like, I didn't even fucking think this was going to be part of it.
Yeah, or you would even be interested in it.
Yeah.
Yep, the vaults, you find out in the games, go through crazy shit. Like,
I bet.
They have an idea of, like, the vaults are, like, where all the rich people went and people were lucky in the vaults. But, like, you find out later on, most of the vaults have fucked up fates pretty much in futures.
I'm already seeing that playing out a bit in this show then, because it's kind of touching at that. Yeah, really cool. And that's what I mean. Like, there were all these side characters that I thought were just going to be side characters that are kind of also main characters in their own right, and they're all really good. All the characters are funny, and I think that helps sell the show
That's the thing, too. It's a very funny show. It has great action.
Great effects.
It's very good at keeping you in suspense.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's like...
That's Fallout.
That's Fallout for what we want to say about it now.
Yeah, we didn't want to get too into spoilers because, well, first off, neither of us have finished the series. We both plan on it.
Yeah.
We just want you to go out and watch it for yourselves. It's a great show.
Maybe the next Nerd Shit in the Dark we'll talk more spoiler about it because we'll be done by then.
I think it has mass appeal.
I think so too.
You don't have to know anything about Fallout to understand what's going on.
I didn't. I absolutely did not.
Kaylee does not either, and she watched it with me.
Yeah, Miranda as well.
She did not like the gore, though.
It is very graphic.
I should have warned. Yeah, that is another thing. Don't watch
gruesome.
It with your little children because it is graphic.
There's swearing. Yeah, it's
sex. There's sexual things.
It's an adult show.
Sexual contact.
There's
sexual content. All kinds of bad stuff.
Yeah, but good stuff. So yeah,
and the worst of all, drug use.
There is drug use. Yeah, which is okay for today,
right?
Because it's our 420 special, and
because just know any other time besides 420, it's bad.
Right? Yeah. If it wasn't today, 420, then it wouldn't be okay.
That's right. But since today is in fact 420,
so
it's fine.
So Braden and I decided for the In the Dark section that we were going to cover stoner films to celebrate the season. Yep. So we're going to hop off. Yep. We're going to watch our first stoner film that Braden has picked out. I don't know what it is.
You don't know at all.
I don't know at all. I'm completely in the dark.
And I'm excited for you to experience it.
So we're going to watch his first movie. We're going to hop off.
I'll be surprised if you've seen this before.
And we're going to come back on. I would be surprised too. All right. So, shitters, we'll see you in just a minute.
Yep. Shit tight.
George Washington, man, he was in a cult. And the cult was into aliens, man. You didn't know that? Oh, man, they were way into that type of stuff, man.
George Toad Weed.
Absolutely George Toad Weed. Are you kidding me, man? He grew feet fields of that stuff, man. That's what I'm talking about. Fields.
He grew that shit up in Mount Vernon, man.
Mount Vernon, man, he grew it all over the country, man. He had people growing it all over the country, you know? The whole country back then was getting hot. Let me tell you, man, because he knew. He was on to something, man. He knew that it would be a good cash crop for the southern states, man. So he grew fields of it, man. But you know what? Behind every good man, there's a woman. And that woman was Martha Washington, man. And every day George would come home, she'd have a big fat bowl waiting for him, man, when he'd come in the door, man. She was a hip lady, man.
All right, we just got back from watching Braden's movie.
Yep.
And it was...
We're rearing to go.
It was an interesting movie. Braden, why don't you tell the shitters what we went with if they haven't picked it up from, the break.
So we watched... Yeah. So we watched Dazed and Confused.
Mm-hmm.
We chose this movie because we were driving around in Indiana or walking. One of the things. We were in a town.
Him and Kaylee.
Me and Kaylee.
Not me.
And we saw Dazed and Confused was playing at the movie theater. Was that right? Is that how it went?
In Indiana?
On 420, they were showing Dazed and Confused.
Today.
And I had seen Dazed and Confused once before in the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
During like a media swap, someone had it on their hard drive and I watched it.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it. It was like a fun, feel-good movie at the time.
Especially when you're not in America.
When I'm not in America.
Very American.
And I can't experience American culture.
Yeah.
It's a very American film.
It 110% is.
Yeah.
It's not like an American film that it's in your face about it being American.
It's not flag waving or anything like
right.
that.
It's just like you watch it and you're like, yep, this is teenagers in America.
Yep.
In the 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. It was my first time seeing this movie. I know the movie. I've heard of the movie. I've seen the Matthew McConaughey memes and shit.
Yep.
And
Came out in
stuff,
1993.
Yep.
Considered a stoner movie classic.
And I see why. There is weed all over this movie. They are not subtle about weed. It starts with people lighting up.
The title is quite literally a reference to weed.
Yeah. So, yeah. I keep forgetting what the movie's called.
Yeah.
All since we've been watching it, I've been like, what is this movie? I keep saying Cool Runnings in my head, and I'm like, it's not Cool Runnings.
Different movie.
It's 100% not Cool
Very
Runnings.
different movie.
But Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
You could say I'm a little dazed and confused about this fucking title.
I wonder why.
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
But
That's
explain
just some 420 humor for you.
explain a little bit of the plot that isn't there. The thing about this
You want
movie
me to
is
explain the non-existent plot?
there's not a plot. There's a setting.
Yes.
Set the scene.
So I describe this movie as a period piece, slice of life style window into the lives of these 70s American teenagers for one night. It's the first night of summer before they're seen. Before
it's the last day of school. It's one day.
It's the last day of school.
On
yeah,
one day.
Basically,
It's crazy.
It follows around several groups.
Crazy.
Several groups of characters. There's the Jacques characters, which has kind of the main character. There's not really a main character, but he's like the only character who has an arc in this movie.
He's connected to all the groups.
Yes. And I don't remember any of their names because they don't say their names a lot.
No, they might, but
But I know his nickname is Pink.
Okay.
For like Pink Floyd or something.
Sure.
But they call him Pink, and he's the quarterback.
Yeah.
So him and his jock buddies are one of the groups. There's the nerdy group, which has the guy from Saving Private Ryan who got stabbed.
Okay. Yeah.
They're-
Even the nerdy group is kind of cool, though. I like how everybody's still kind of cool.
I was going to talk about that.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'll just go over the rest of the groups.
Yeah.
So the nerdy group, the jock group, the like popular girl group, I guess.
Yeah.
Those are like the seniors.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
the one half of the groups. Then the other half are the freshmen,
Yes.
which have one of the popular girls' his younger brother, who's like the main freshman character,
Right.
with his nerdy friends.
Yes. I don't even know if they're his nerdy friends. They're just younger.
just his friends,
They're just
yeah.
the younger kids in the show.
Yeah, the
or in
freshmen.
movie. Yeah. I don't know if I liked the brother character, the little brother.
He was weird.
I don't know. I don't know what it was about him I didn't like. He got thrown into this awesome life. He didn't earn it, I feel like.
I thought he earned it. I thought that was the whole point.
Oh, I didn't think he earned it at all. I just thought he was this lucky guy that just got lucky. And I don't know. There's something about him that I was just like, I don't think he's like this wallflower character coming into adulthood that I think I'm supposed to. He just seems like some fucking kid that just is lucky he got to be picked by these guys to go with. I don't know. I didn't like him.
Well, do we want to get into that?
And I don't think I wasn't supposed to like him. I just didn't.
Well,
He annoyed me. I felt like if I knew this kid, I'd be like, I fucking hate that kid.
You find out a lot of these characters are just people. There's not really good or bad guys.
No.
There's
jerks. Ben Affleck's a jerk.
Ben Affleck is like the only bad guy where like you don't root for him at all.
Yeah.
But like all the characters kind of do morally ambiguous things. Like there's not really good people. There's not really bad people. Like they also do nice things as well randomly.
Well, I think we do need to talk about the setting in a way of like this movie. You said it when we watched it that it's a very dystopian society.
Seems like it.
Like everything's 70s as fuck, but it's also like, but it's in a world where
like
kids that are seniors in high school rule the fucking town and the world.
No one
possibly.
opposes them.
Nobody opposes them. They're so like, what the fuck ever about everything they're doing that the adults around are just
so
like.
Do we want to talk about the ritual that they do?
Which one is that?
Well, I guess there's boys, the senior boys for the freshman boys, and the senior girls for the freshman girls.
Okay, yeah, we'll do the senior. So the senior boys.
There's a ritual.
Remember, they're not even actually seniors yet. Everybody's going into being. So they're going in to be seniors. They're going in to be freshman characters.
Right. It's the transition year.
They basically do the episode of Hey Arnold where the 5th graders dunk the 4th graders into the garbage cans. Except in this, all the seniors chase the freshman boys around town.
The senior boys chase the freshman
paddles,
boys.
And they whack them in the ass.
Beat the shit out of them.
They beat the shit out of them with these paddles.
All summer
they
long.
Hunt them. It's just the first day, and it's a fucking
massacre.
And
the adults are cool with it. The teachers are cool with it.
Yep.
The teachers like kind of support it.
Yeah.
They even talk about how the whole town pretty much supports it. The older siblings support it being done to their younger siblings.
Yeah.
Even though like
it's like tradition is tradition.
Right. We can't
even though it's savage
that.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the seniors chase after. It's like Mad Max. The seniors chase after the freshmen like monsters.
Yeah,
like monsters.
Like they're scary. Like
they are. Yeah,
like you feel scared for these boys getting caught.
I didn't know what was gonna happen to the first one when he first got caught. I was like, how bad are they gonna beat the shit out of? They color these paddles red. At one point, I thought it was just covered in blood. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So the boys one is very strange. Once they get paddled, they're kind of like in though.
It's like an initiation ritual.
Yeah.
It's like frat hazing.
Yeah.
Pretty much, where like, and it doesn't happen to all of them.
No.
But they do show that there is like some kind of code that they follow where like if you get beaten real bad, like they lay off of you for a while.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll make you cool and bring you into their group.
The kids are playing, the 9th graders are playing a baseball game at one point, and there are just full-grown adult-ass men with paddles outside of this game, like waiting for the game to... The movie's so crazy, I was actually surprised they didn't just hop the fence and beat the shit out of the kids right there in the baseball game.
Yeah, they look like grown-ass adults because it's the 70s.
They are.
They're supposed to be seniors in high school.
It's Ben Affleck.
But even then,
like
no one's
Batman
like...
big.
No one's like stopping this. They all accept it that like the pitcher who just won the game for them is going to get their ass beat now.
Yeah.
And everyone just looks the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's the boys.
That's the boys' ritual.
The girls' weirder.
Rituals, we don't follow it as much, but it happens.
It's like one day.
Yeah, it's like one event. They're just like walking on top of freshman girls while dumping like food and shit on them. And
calling them names.
Just calling them sluts.
Being really mean.
Just bitchy. Yeah, that was weird. I thought that scene was really weird.
Yeah, and then the same thing happens where... You know, they choose some of them to bring into the cool group, and
then that's like the setting.
Yeah.
And all throughout the movie, it's just a day as these people are trying to find a place to hang out.
Yeah, the party that they're all going to got canceled.
And that's a whole part of it.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of it's driving around. These groups driving around in cars, talking to each other.
Yeah, and hanging out in like teen bars, I assume, that look like the coolest fucking places in the world.
And the movie like doesn't take itself too seriously, but like at certain parts it does get kind of existential. like with what the characters are talking about and just like their lives.
Yeah.
And like, you know, moving on and stuff. And it looks ridiculous to us because they look like full grown ass adults to us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
they are 17-year-olds.
yeah, it is very much
going
a
into adulthood.
coming of age movie.
It's coming of age, but also just being young.
Yeah.
It's a weird combo
trying to
of
have
both.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's what they're doing. Their whole goal is everyone is just to have fun that night.
Yeah, and they are all having big things happen that have no weight at all.
Nothing.
Like,
Yeah.
what's his face? The main guy and the main girl like make out at one point, and it's just like nothing comes of that.
He cheats.
She's like,
yeah.
"You have a girlfriend," and he's
Yeah, he
like,
cheats on his
How'd
girlfriend."
you know about that? And then but it's nothing. They go their separate ways.
Yeah.
He hangs out with the girl that we've been introduced to.
Absolutely
as his,
no
girlfriend.
consequences. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but real. It felt very real.
It felt very real. Yeah. Like,
Did the girlfriend leave him at the end?
Yeah. The guy comes over and tells him that she left. She's done.
oh, I thought he was talking about the girl that he cheated on with left.
Yeah.
The older sister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The older sister dipped, but his actual girlfriend stuck with him. I
I think
think
she was there when they were at
the,
the
like the football
50-yard
field.
line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he ever
The
told
girl he was cheating on her with left.
Yeah.
Who was like the main girl.
Which he would have definitely slept with if she let him
Yeah.
and fully cheated. Like, he fully cheated.
Honestly,
But he wanted to go
it
further.
could have happened, and the movie probably would have just continued on the
Yeah,
same
nothing-
way it did.
No consequences.
Nothing at all.
It said, like, yeah, no way. Ben Affleck, who's kind of the main antagonist, if we could call him the main antagonist, because
Sure,
he's
yeah.
only really a small
He's
part
the one
of it.
that like everybody teamed, like even the senior boys helped the freshman guys fuck him up.
Well, the whole thing with him is no one likes him because he's an asshole and also an idiot and flunked and got held back.
That's right. He
year.
is a lot older.
So he's
than
a lot
should
older
be.
than them.
Yeah.
And he's still kind of doing these rituals and like being the biggest asshole about them.
Yeah.
Because like the other guys are assholes about it, but like they know when to stop.
Yeah.
Kind of, especially the main quarterback guy. Like he goes easy on them.
Yeah.
Just kind of establishes him as like he's kind of a good guy, but also he's still
He's a very likable guy,
Yeah.
and he's like I said, he's friends with the stoners. He gives up on his dream of playing football, kind of. I think he's still gonna get to play football. I think he just said he's not fucking. The point of this guy's thing in the whole movie is like the main quarterback guy is friends with the stoners, and he's got to agree to not smoking weed or drinking or doing anything like whatever on
That's
a piece
like the
of
main
paper.
conflict.
The main conflict, if there is one, is that he has to check mark that he won't do this shit.
Right. I don't even think he has to do a drug test.
No, I don't think
he just
so.
has to lie.
I think he just has to check the box, but he won't even do that. He will not sign the paper.
Yeah.
And
And he doesn't even really want to do football anymore.
no. So by the end of the movie, he actually just says fuck it, and he doesn't sign the paper.
But he says he's still going to do football
But
if they let him.
I feel like he still was gonna play football.
Yeah,
so
I
it was
feel
just
like there's no consequences.
There was no consequence. The struggle was saying you as a viewer want him to say no, and he does, and
Yeah.
that's the hurdle. Not
Right.
accepting his fate and being an adult.
Right.
It's fuck this. I'm smoking weed. I'm gonna be friends with He's friends with the stoners. He's friends with the nerds. He's friends with the popular people. I like that so much.
I was
Get
gonna
into
say,
that. Get into that.
I was going to say I love
Get your ass.
one of the aspects. So, like, there's a lot of antagonistic relationships in this, but it's mostly between the seniors and the underclassmen. And you also realize there's kind of a purpose to that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people within their class all seem to get along well.
Yeah.
Like, they're like the jocks talk to the nerds and they talk to the stoners and they all go to the same parties.
I
And-
honestly didn't know the nerds were nerds until later in the movie. Like, even the one nerd who looks like a big nerd, the senior guy.
Yeah.
That one girl comes up to it, like a popular girl brings that one girl up to him. She's like, I want to be your wife. They do that ritual thing
Yeah.
to the nerd guy.
Like, they
and I'm
all
just
see-
like, okay, so he's in a position of power, it seems
Right.
like.
But it seems like they're all cliques, but they all seem to get along and have mutual respect for each other, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And they all seem to treat each other well and are our friends. And I
Yeah.
like that a lot. And I think part of the reason maybe is because of that weird ritual that they do, that they all have this like hive mind mentality now that like if you went through the initiations,
You're cool.
you're cool. And so we
Yeah.
just get along better.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't really any interclassmate antagonism besides that one crazy dude at the party.
Right, yeah.
Which I think that dude was just a crazy dude.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, but he also had good reason to fight whenever he wanted to fight.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, that's the thing. It felt like I've experienced it before almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's very much, like I said, slice of life. It's
Yeah.
just supposed to be relatable. I think you're just supposed to. I think this came out in 93, so I
Right.
think this was like a nostalgia flick
Sure.
for people who were teenagers in the 70s.
That's what as I'm watching it, I'm, not that age anymore, but
This
I'm
was
also
this-
like, oh, I miss these kind of times. Like, it felt very familiar times. Like, I'll never
Yeah.
live something like that again. But I remember when things were like that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not 70s wise, but like that feeling of just like all you have to do is hang out with your friends.
Right. Do we want to talk about Matthew McConaughey's character?
Sure, we could talk about Matthew McConaughey's character.
I feel like we haven't mentioned him at all. And
All
this
right,
is,
all
this
right,
is like,
all right.
Fuck Carl.
Which one's Carl?
He was a friend of the 8th grader that fucking sucked.
Oh, the blonde kid.
the blonde Carl kid, yeah.
Like, totally was the opposite of a wingman.
Right. Yeah, he did suck. He was like mean to the other kid that, like the fat friend of theirs. He was just a douche too.
He was getting,
Yeah, he was getting his ass beat. Yeah, Carl sucked. Carl
Yeah.
sucked.
Carl is not a good friend.
Carl is one of the, and he looks like a little douchebag too. Like they
Yeah.
picked a real douchey looking little blonde 9th grade boy to play that character because he sucked. You're right. Good name drop, Pete.
you gotta reward. The one kid got a reward for getting his ass kicked, and then the kid's like hogging all the beer.
Yeah.
That's true.
Throws it away.
I forgot Carl. Yeah, stole their beer.
Yeah.
Fuck Carl.
Fuck Carl.
And yeah, the seniors did
Good
give
input. I agree.
them a reward after their ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a rite of passage
Yeah.
thing, and it is weird.
Yeah.
But it was the 70s.
Times
They
are
were
weird.
all weird back then.
Yeah.
Need seatbelts.
Yeah.
Seatbelts were optional, and none of these people chose to use
There's at
that
one
option.
point you thought that the teacher, their English teacher or whatever, was at the
I
party
thought
with
the
them.
English teacher was
and
at the
I thought
party.
it was
I
her
was
for
like,
a second
is that
too.
her? Is that the teacher?
So I was like, that's something this movie would pull. Like the teachers hanging out with the students smoking weed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but it was the one dude's girlfriend.
Yeah.
But she looked a lot like the teacher. What were you saying before, though? What we were going to jump on?
Matthew McConaughey's
Matthew
character.
McConaughey's character, yeah. He's interesting. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in that movie. He's older.
He's supposed to be in his 20s.
Has he graduated and a lot
yeah.
of time has moved on?
He's
Okay, I
supposed to
wasn't
be
sure.
like 25, 26,
Really?
I think.
Holy
yeah.
fuck.
He's very much
He's
like
a lot older than everybody.
the creepy old. He's supposed to be, that creepy older friend that
I guess,
is at
but
the
they
party.
didn't really portray him as too creepy. He seemed cool.
That's the thing. It's Matthew McConaughey.
yeah,
He's still
yeah.
gonna be cool. That's
Yeah.
the most iconic character from this movie.
For sure, and he's not really one of the main ones at
No,
all.
not
He's
at
a
all.
very side character.
He's a small part in it, but
Mm-hmm.
he has most of the memes from this movie are about him.
Yep.
That's where the all right comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jared LOL'd today
Yeah, he sure did.
when we watched it.
Yeah, he caught it. And also, like, the high school girls keep getting, or I keep
keep
getting
getting
older.
older,
I
I-
keep saying
the
the same
same
age.
age,
Yes,
yeah.
they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck. That's
Very
such
much.
Ooh, like, the 90s were a different time that you could get it. Because even though he's supposed to sound creepy, I don't think he's supposed to sound as creepy as he does today.
I don't
Saying
think the
something like-
audiences took him as creepy.
No, I don't think
it was more like
I
that,
don't think high schoolers are supposed to seem like they're still kids in this movie at all.
Yeah, it's very much like that rascal,
Mm-hmm.
and not like this predator.
Right. Yeah. So he's fun, but he's also a good bro. Like, he helps people out.
Great bro. He's a very chill
He's a
dude.
very chill dude.
He ends up trying. Well, he he gets with the nerdy redhead girl. A part of the nerd group.
That's right. I
at the
forgot
end.
that was like something that happened. Was
Who is-
the nerdy redhaired girl
In high school, still.
flirted and got to hang out with Matthew McConaughey's character. A lot of crazy dynamics. A lot of characters'
Yep.
interactions that become friends, lovers, all sorts of
Yeah.
shit. Ay, ay, ay.
I also want to talk about my favorite character
Who's your favorite character?
from the movie. I don't know his name,
Okay.
but I just
Yeah, I
call
don't know
him.
anybody's name.
We'll just call him Eyebrows.
Eyebrows. Okay.
Yeah, which it was like the main quarterback dude's main friend,
his like buddy,
who's
kind of a meathead, but like
meathead crazy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this dude is insane. And probably a sex pest.
Sure. Well, he's the one that like tries to hook up with the teacher, which is why I thought she was at the not trying, but like he's like, you want to kiss or something like that.
He's a very problematic dude. I'm not condoning his sex pest tendencies.
No. He's confident.
Very confident guy. And you kind of and you see him do nice things randomly, and it's not like super highlighted, but like when you first introduced them, you seem like, oh, this guy's gonna be an asshole to everyone, and you're gonna hate him. And like he is that a little bit, but at the same time he does
in a charming way.
It's so charming that you kind of like him for it. Like one of the times where they needed to go buy beer, and the freshman kid was with them, and he was like, you're the least drunk, so we're gonna make you do it. And so he like pulled the freshman kid aside and like brought him up the hill, and the kid was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And he was like, I was just joking with them, I'm gonna go in and get it. And then he goes in and gets it,
and they gotta pretend like they steal it.
And then shortly afterwards he comes running out pretending like he stealed it, and then like a guy comes up with him with a gun, and you find out he paid for it. Like he's just joking around. Like he's actually just seemed like he had the kid's best interest at heart. And he becomes kind of a bro to him later that night. Gives him girl advice.
They're a lot of good bro. Once they get their beating, the older guys are just like, we got you. Let's go.
It's quite literally like a gang initiation.
Yes, sure is.
They beat the shit out of you, and then they have your back. Not saying it's good.
No.
Just
makes for a fun movie.
On the cultural dynamics of this time.
Yeah. There was nothing. Like, you're always waiting in a movie for something to get bad, like some sort of twist. It's like, we got to solve. It never comes.
Even like
it just plays out.
When Ben Affleck's character got dumped with paint.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any consequences.
He just left.
He left. He had to go home because
he was covered in paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't come back and try and murder one of them or anything.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, there was a point where the movie ends and they're just kind of driving on the road, and it ends with them driving. But I was like, this movie, I just feel like it's been so chill for the whole movie. I wouldn't be surprised if, to give it some sort of weight, it just ends with the car crashing. Like something awful.
Ben Affleck shooting the main passenger.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. It's not like super eventful film where like it's not bombastic or anything. It's just, like you said, a chill, feel-good film.
Which was perfect for 420.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pete, were you going to say something a second ago? I thought I saw you like about to say something.
Well, no, I mean, no, not that I can really think of.
Okay.
That's well constructed.
Okay, I was going to say, if you got something, we'll roll with it, but.
Well, I mean, I think it could go into like the whole Asian thing, and that's why they respect them afterwards. Because you know that you took that beating.
Right.
You didn't punk out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Ben Affleck's character gets so mad at those two kids, because the mom comes out and protects them.
Oh, that's right. That is why he's like, yeah.
And that breaks the code of like,
yeah.
Hey, you bitch, you went to your mother.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how we do things.
Okay, dude, I forgot about that. That was a part of it. Yeah. Good point.
It's like when you're kids and you're playing around, and yeah, you can get a little bit too rough, but you never go to your mother.
Yeah.
That's a punk move.
Sure. Yeah,
you don't want to be punks, especially in the 70s as a teenager.
No. God, no. Yeah, that's what they do to people they are ending up gonna like.
Right.
Jesus.
Maybe that's also why the other kid got so well accepted in the group.
That's he took
it.
The one of the worst beatings, because they said they were going after him the most.
Even the girl showed up and was like, hey, take it easy on that kid.
Yeah.
That's kind of why they went for him first, because the sister was like, take it easy on my brother.
Right.
And they were like, sorry.
Well, then they went so hard on him.
Death warrant.
They went so hard on him that they took pity on him, and at least the main character did. And
made him their best friend.
Yeah, brought him in, gave him a great night.
And I just didn't like him. I don't know if it was his face, it was his character, his hair maybe. I don't know. I just didn't like that kid.
He had weaselly features.
I just don't think he deserved his coolness, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Things went too well for him the whole fucking time. So, I don't know. That's just my thought on it. So, yeah, that's Dazed and Confused.
That's Dazed and Confused.
So, great. All right. Well, we're going to hop off, watch our second movie of the night. We know what it is, but we'll keep you guys in the dark until we pick it up. So once we get back, we'll see you.
See ya.
How about in the park when I said that you were my friend? You didn't say anything back.
Well, that's easy. It's because we're not friends. You are my drug dealer. There's one reason we know each other. I like the drugs you sell. That's it. If you didn't sell those drugs, I would have no idea who you were, and I would be fantastic right now. Instead of looking like this. That sounded mean.
Yeah,
Just hearing it sounded mean. I didn't mean to say
it's
all
out,
that.
bro. Monkey's out of the bottle, man.
What?
Yeah.
That's not even an expression.
Pandora doesn't go back in the box. He only comes out.
I'm sorry, man. Look, what are you doing?
Here, have a nice last meal.
Come on, dude. Don't do
Why
that.
don't you supersize it, bitch?
I'm sorry, man. Look, come back. No, I didn't mean that.
All right.
Welcome back, shitters.
Welcome back. We just wrapped up our second In the Dark movie.
Yes,
It was Pineapple Express.
it was indeed Pineapple
Now,
Express.
this was a special movie for Braden and I because when we first came up with the idea to do a 420 special, I decided, hey, we should do 2 stoner movies. And I had already picked Pineapple Express in my head when I thought it. And I texted Braden, and without telling him, he was like, I'd probably pick Pineapple Express. And I was like, fuck. That's what I want to watch.
And I told you I'd probably pick Pineapple Express because the whole deal is we don't tell each other what we're going to pick.
Right.
But I said I might pick that because I figured you might pick that because it recently came out on Netflix.
Yeah. I didn't know it was on Netflix. It's my favorite stoner movie. So
Yeah.
it was always going to be
I was
my
happy to
pick.
watch it again. Like you said, you have an explanation of why it's
well,
very rewatchable.
I do have. I don't know if it's why it's very rewatchable, but why I find it very rewatchable.
Right.
So to go back in time a little in my college days.
Oh,
back when I was just a
way
I
back
was a
machine.
20-year-old lad.
Here we go. Whoa.
Whoa,
Going
it's
way back.
2012. Oh,
The world's about to
the
end.
Avengers movie isn't even out yet. I don't think.
I think it came out in 2012.
I think it came out in 2013.
Did it?
I don't know. No, it must be 2012.
It was 2012?
It was 2012.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't out yet. So, yeah, it wasn't out. We're actually in 2011, 2012.
Okay.
School frame. Sorry, everybody. But I was staying at my godmother's apartment in DuBois, where I was going to college at. I would stay there during the day, and I didn't have the Wi-Fi password, and I didn't have anything there except the DVD player, and they had a couple things there on DVD, and it was like Breaking Bad, like the 3rd season, which I hadn't even watched. This is pre me watching that. And then they had Pineapple Express on DVD, and I would stay there often, but I didn't have anything really, like I don't even know if I could get on basic cable. I really can't even remember, but I would watch Pineapple Express over and over and over. Not, multiple times a day, but like every once in a
so
while,
now. Yeah.
I'd put it on again because I liked it so much. And it was crazy because even when I saw the movie, I had seen it in theaters when it came out too. So I knew the movie, but there was something about it that I just kept watching. But the craziest part is this is also before I ever smoked weed. I was pretty anti-weed but I've always known there's something about Pineapple Express I always liked.
I also was pretty anti-weed when I first watched it.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
I always liked it. Always. And then when I started smoking weed, I ended up liking it even more. It was like
Right.
in
For
me.
you then.
Yeah. So that's just my little backstory with Pineapple Express.
I also have a fun story about Pineapple Express.
Ooh, go for it.
That was the first movie I watched in Malawi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We'd been training for a few weeks. We hadn't watched any media at this point because there wasn't like internet where we were. But someone had it on their hard drive, and one day during our break, we all got together and watched it. And it was very fun, but it also made us feel really bad because you're not allowed to do anything in that country. Like, you're not even allowed to drink
Yeah.
or like be out after dark or anything.
Right.
It was a very sheltered lifestyle. And so seeing what it was like in America, where you
Right.
could just smoke weed,
Drive around.
drive
do
around,
all
and
sorts of stuff.
do all kinds of stuff, we were like, damn.
You couldn't even smoke the weed.
Yeah, we were missing it.
Yeah. So,
But it was fun.
Yeah.
One of the Malawian groundskeepers came up and started watching it with us.
Oh, wow.
And he started laughing because it was the scene where they were beating the shit out of Red,
Yeah,
like that whole fight.
that's a good one.
And he was just like, what the heck?
Goofy American shenanigans,
Yeah.
beating each other up, slapstick humor. Yeah, so that's cool. I'm glad we both have a little something. It's a special movie. It's a special movie for me. Now, it's not really a movie that gives you a whole lot to discuss.
No.
Pineapple Express is what it is.
Yeah.
To anybody who doesn't know this movie, it's about a character. His name is Dale Denton. He's played by Seth Rogen, and he buys weed from James Franco's character Saul, and he ends up seeing a murder from like a gang mob boss, and the gang mob boss is the guy that sells the weed, the guy that sells Dale the weed.
Yeah. It's all very contrived, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter
And
because
it's him running away from this mob boss who's sending people out to kill him.
yeah,
Is the premise, I suppose.
it's a crime comedy,
Crime buddy
comedy,
stoner flick.
stoner. Yeah.
Because all throughout it, they're smoking weed and
Just trying to run away from these guys who
Yeah.
are trying to kill them.
things I like. Lots of little things I like. I always enjoy this movie for like the little montages of like they'll smoke weed and do something goofy and like an odd montage.
It's great. They're great at funny montages. I'm not always crazy about montages because they're just ways to fill time and show passage of time.
Yeah.
But they do it well here.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I mean, it really shows more of because like you don't really see that those two are friends in like the lines they say. Like that Saul really likes Dale, but Dale treats him kind of off. But when they're high and like just smoking together, they're like they're
buddy,
playing
buddy.
leapfrog. They're the best of friends. So I always
Even
like
while they're
seeing
being
that.
chased, but they're still goofing off when they're high.
Yeah. It's a very serious stuff is going on around them, but they goof off. I think Saul is one of the funniest written like weed dealer characters I've
I
ever
was
seen in
thinking
my
that
life.
he's one of the best weed dealer characters we've seen. Even the weed dealer character in Dazed and Confused seemed like a very generic weed dealer character.
Yeah, he really wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just some kid that
It's like
sold
the
weed.
archetype,
Yeah,
pretty much.
not that Saul kind of isn't, but like
It's its own character.
the way I wonder how much of that is just James Franco, like just saying shit.
I
and
think a
stuff
lot
that's
of it is
scripted.
James Franco
Yeah.
just channeling his own personality
I think so.
because he is a big stoner in real
Yeah.
life.
Like just the little things he says, like well, my favorite line in the whole movie is when he comes in and says "fuck the police."
Fuck the police.
But like just
Misses her entirely.
a woman, a woman, a guy, and a Asian or whatever. That's a massacre. So I really like him.
Yeah, a lot of yelling,
A lot of yelling,
a lot of fighting.
a lot of frantic moments. But action scenes.
Yeah.
I like action scenes.
It does.
even in
It
time.
it turns into an action movie at the end.
Oh yeah, I love the way like there's a lot of camera like work decisions that they try to make in the movie to make things like it's funny but cool. Like whenever it shows them like getting the guns ready and stuff, and it's like zooming in and doing like the cool
They're acting like they're in Call of Duty, like
and it like goes. Then it zooms out and it's just like two
dorks,
orcs with guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like the shitters.
I don't think that shitters. I think you guys are cool. I think you guys are so cool. You bring a tear to my eye.
That's not cool.
Crying's cool.
That's not cool.
Crying is cool.
Crying's not cool.
Cool people cry.
All the time.
At least a couple times a day, just to get it out. You don't have to be so manly and hold it in all the time. Yeah.
Would you be a crybaby character in an anime?
In an anime. I wouldn't want to be the crybaby character in an anime.
I thought crying was cool though.
Crying
Wouldn't
is
they,
cool.
wouldn't they be the coolest character?
Crying is cool, but crybaby characters in anime aren't cool.
Why?
I don't know. It's too much. It's over the top crying. Crybaby
Oh,
character.
so you can cry too much.
You can cry. You can't cry too often, but you can cry too much.
Of course. Who's saying you can't cry?
You were saying that we can't cry. Unbelievable. Watch a buddy movie with this guy and he immediately instigates.
That's what buddies are for.
Well, that's what happens in the movie. There's a portion where they stop getting along and they split up. See, this movie had what Dazed and Confused. You're waiting the whole time for like the crazy stuff in the middle,
The climax.
Sure,
Yeah.
but or like I guess in this movie, like usually in like a romantic comedy, like something happens that the couple will no longer be together.
This
They
is like
split
a
up for
buddy
bit.
comedy.
Right. So something happened that caused them. Dale breaks up with his girlfriend and in an angered rage yells at Saul and tells him they're not even friends, and then they're off screen from being together for a while, and
Yeah.
it sets up the end of the movie.
Got to come back together and save each other in friendship.
Yeah.
I always think Danny McBride's character is great in this.
Yeah. This is one of the first movies I think I ever saw him in, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, these are early days for actually probably almost everybody involved.
One
in
of the
them.
first movies I remember him in was the Land of the Lost.
Oh,
movie
okay. Yeah.
With Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, and it's funny because, like, this was the first movie that I think... I don't know if it's the first time he had done it, but it's the first time I saw James Franco to be a comedic actor.
Right. He used to do a lot of serious.
Yeah, like all the, but like a lot of his other stuff is kind of comedic. Like he is actually a funny guy, but he had been in so many serious things up until that point. I remember him being cast. I remember thinking somebody told me it was him, and I was like, James Franco, because at that point, he had the short hair. He looked like Harry Osborn all the time and everything. He didn't look like that guy.
Right.
So yeah, really like that about the movie. Brought a whole nother dynamic to an actor I didn't know existed.
For sure. Pineapple Express is a real strain of wheat.
Yeah, it is. I think it came out after the movie.
I think it was probably inspired by the movie.
Yeah, and it is fine. It's fine.
It's not the El Dorado of...
No, not like it yeah. What
Not
it is
like-
in the
yeah.
movie is something...
It's very much mythologized in the movie.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like Pete said when we were watching it, it was like the guy picked it up, smoked it, and knew right away that it was fine. No, you can't do that.
No, yeah.
But, you buy it for the movie.
They
And-
took a lot of liberties.
Yeah, I one New Year's, me, Swag, and Brent bought way too much Pineapple Express, and we had to smoke it for days.
Right.
So
I'm sure it got old.
It did get old pretty quick. So, I see it. I see it a lot when I'm buying weed, but I never really click it because, like, I've had it. I get it. I love the movie. I'll always love the movie, but yeah.
Yeah. It's just like in Breaking Bad, how there's not really a thing such as meth purity.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. You add a little fictional flavor to make it fun.
Yeah. It's believable.
Yeah. What's your favorite scene in the movie? What's your favorite part
Of the whole movie?
of the whole movie?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question, and I don't even know if I can
I have
answer
to
for
think about
myself.
I do really like the fight scene with Red.
In his house.
Yeah.
It is like it's choreographed, but like it looks like it's not because it's
Yeah.
just a fucking knucklehead.
And it's very comedic.
Brawl,
Because
yeah.
it's good.
He's punching him in the butt cheeks.
Yeah, it's good violent humor.
yeah.
So they're like hurting each other, but they're all really bad at fighting.
Yeah. And kind of being silly about it, but being super serious about it.
Right.
Like James Franco's Saul is like screaming as he's like jumping on the phone in the bathroom to try and break it. And yeah, he beats him over the head with a bong. It shatters it. I always like that. Like the bong shatter thing is what causes him to like start to. It's like meanwhile he got punched in the face like 30 times.
Oh, yeah.
And like that's the thing that like makes him go a little unconscious. And he throws him through the wall.
His character just has plot armor with how much damage he can take.
Yeah, that was one of the things I remember when I first saw it. And like how Pete reacted when Danny McBride's character Red crawls out at the very end. Still, like he dies so many times over, and he just keeps crawling back out. I thought that was so funny the first times I saw that movie. Because every time he dies, you think like, oh no, he's dead. Like every time he comes off as like believably, okay, that's where he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's not. Great character. Not a big cast.
No.
Yeah.
No, not really. It's
Where's
Seth Rogen and James Franco running around different locations,
Yeah,
most
with,
places.
like a couple other actors. Like Dazed and Confused, it seemed like there was
a ton of people.
1,000 people. It seemed like there were like 1,000 people all the time.
Yeah. You didn't know anyone's names. There was a lot of characters to keep track of.
Yeah.
In this one, there is a plot line
Mhm. Oh,
that they
certainly.
follow.
Mhm.
You know what the characters are going to do next.
Mhm.
They, discuss their moves of what they're going to do.
Yeah, I always like how like they set things up that kind of seems unbelievable, and then like they there's like little lines that make them more believable. And like a scene that I mean like is like there's a whole scene where Saul's like they could probably use the skywaves to intercept and like track our cell phones, and it's a ridiculous thing. It sounds ridiculous, but then a little later in the movie, the cops like, yeah, we triangulated their phones and found them in the woods. And they move past it so quick, but it's just like this ridiculous thing that
they're just like stumbling their way through this, making a lot of mistakes, but accidentally evading who's trying to find them.
Yeah.
Just for sheer luck of how stupid they are.
And everything that they're paranoid about that seems like just paranoia is actually absolutely what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few actors in it that like slipped in, I think, when it came out that now I see now, and I'm like I didn't really watch The Office a lot back when this came out.
Oh yeah, Craig Ferguson, Craig Robertson, yeah.
He
not Craig Ferguson.
I think this is where I saw him for the first time. They have the dude, like the Asian guy from The Hangover, Kim Jong.
He's also in Community.
Yeah. So he's in it just a little, like he's very off-screened. I think Bobby Lee's in there. I think he's one of the other Asian guys. So yeah, interesting little cast. And people get fucking wrecked. People get murked. I love Masterson, the guy that just wants to go home to his wife the whole movie, and that's like how they end his character arc. Is he's just like, no, I'm done. I'm hungry. I'm going home.
I felt so bad that he died.
Yeah, because, like, but he is a bad guy.
He is a bad dude.
But he just wants to get home to his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot that those characters died before I rewatched it.
Yeah. Yeah, horribly. The one dude gets, I mean, Craig Robertson gets fucking
decapitated,
laid out by a car, yeah. Yeah, over-the-top violence, but not in a gruesome, not like in a Fallout gruesome sort of way.
Yeah, it's not too much.
No.
There are a few gross scenes, but that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great film.
It's a great film.
Classic, a modern stoner classic.
A modern stoner classic, yeah. Well, as we were watching it, I was thinking of a bunch more that I probably could have picked. Maybe we'll save it for a future 420 episode.
Yeah.
Because honestly, another one of my favorite ones is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. That actually might be.
That was one of the
favorite
ones that was on my list. I was also thinking of Cheech and Chong, since I've never seen that.
Okay, yeah, that would have been an interesting one to put on.
Yeah.
We got options. Well, the good thing about 420 is that it comes around again, and you know,
in a year.
So we'll do it again.
Well, we'll see you next year, shitters.
We'll see you next year. Yeah, expect more 420 specials. 'Cause next year it'll be on a Sunday, so it'll still be on the weekend. So very easy to do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all still squeezing out shits by then. Nice. All right.
Alrighty.
Well, I think that's all we got for this week.
We hope everyone has a lovely 420.
Yep. Spend it with someone you love. Spend it doing something you love.
We know by the time you hear this episode, 420 will be long over.
It will
but
be over.
We hope you did that.
Yeah, but reminisce. Maybe when you're listening to this, you'll remember what you were doing today, and you'll
420.
Yeah.
The current day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next episode is our Star Wars special, so you get 2 specials in a row.
There you go.
Look out for that. It's Phantom Menace's 25th anniversary, so we'll be talking about that.
Yep. The best Star Wars.
Best Star Wars, the one that everybody loves.
Yep.
From the first time that they ever saw it.
Till now.
Pod racing.
25 years later.
25 years later. So it should be fun. But until then, yeah. Follow us, listen to our shit.
Yep. Subscribe.
Tell your friends. Spread the word.
Spread the word.
Email us, nerdshitinthedark@gmail.com.
Spew the shit.
Tell us stuff to look into. We'll talk about it. And we'll finish it. And we'll try to talk it in more detail.
That's right.
Other than that,
Keep in touch.
Keep in touch. Braden, what do you got to say?
Look both ways before you cross the road.
And
I love you.
That's the most important. We don't want them to feel unloved.
Nope.
So good night.
Good night.
Sleep tight.
Sleep tight.
Don't let the shit bugs
let the shit bugs
bite. Night.